Dr. Guite, I have
no.
a question for you. You know, in this, the Meiteis memorandum, they are saying that 10% of land and 90% of population, they don't, they don't have the right to buy land in the tribal areas. And they are saying that now the constitutional protection of Meiteis is required, one. Then they are saying that demanding immediate abrogation of SOO pact with Kuki militants, and no disarming Meitei youth without abrogation of SOO pact with Kuki militants. Can this be possible?
See, in terms of the habitable area of the land, I would want to make a point here that 90% of the hill areas are inhabitable, even though it may be in terms of the, when we talk about habitable land area, and then when we see the Imphal Valley, it's the entire valley, all are habitable. So if it, in terms of measurement, it may be smaller in terms of the measurements of the Imphal Valley and the Hill Valley. So that's one point. And regarding the SOO militants, I don't think I am the authority to, say something on this.
But Dr. Guite, is it possible that the Meiteis can be settled in hill areas? Will that lead to peace?
Yes, if peace is possible, only there has to be a, not only the marriage is happening, but intercourse of culture, intercourse of languages, intercourse of, your all kind of distinctive, cultural identities that you have, that has to be accepted on both sides. So there has to be, it's not me who is going to say that, it is the constitution which has laid down that the sixth schedule, the hill areas, where it's not only in terms of Manipur, it's applicable even in Himachal, Uttarakhand, in all the scheduled areas which are occupied by the scheduled tribes. So in that, the constitution is not allowing the outsiders to buy or purchase land in those areas. Because as an indigenous communities, as a tribal, they have their own, protection and conservation rights to the forest, which is given by the constitution. So I would say it is the central government who has to decide on this, not me.
Are you saying that separate? Are you saying that the separate administration under sixth schedule is the solution? Are you saying that, madam?
Yes, I think. I'm saying that.
Why do you say that separate administration is required? Why can't aspirations of Kukis be taken care by the Manipur?
If we see the past 70 years of independence, if we see all the statistics when it comes to health, education, the basic infrastructure, which are leading to, development in a state, there is the concentration of, institutions, either it be health or education, it's all in the Imphal areas. It's because the tribals are not having that separate autonomy and administration, which is also fueling up the discontentment among the tribal people. So if separate administration as per the sixth schedule is provided, I would say that it will go a long way. It will be the most permanent solution to this kind of violence. Because for the Meitei people, accessing the hill areas, or to have that access not only in the plain areas, because the tribal have access to the plain area. That's the one of the discontentment. Like, why can't we have access in the hill areas? So this kind of contentment, if we see discontentment in terms of the population ratio and the kind of development which is taking place, keeping in mind the social, educational and economic context. So these are all something which has to be considered. And in academia, a more research into and a statistical analysis of all these development indicators are important. And many intellectuals have written on this also. But we need to work more on this if we have to look for a sustainable and a long-term solutions.
Dr.
As
Malam,
of now,
Dr.
yeah, as
Malam,
of now,
you are saying,
separate
Dr. Guite,
administration is the solution.
you are saying, Dr. Guite, that this is required. Dr. Malam, do you think separate administration is required? Why can't Manipur fulfill the aspiration as a state?
Number one, let me point out, it's wrong to say that Meiteis are not allowed to buy land in the hill areas. There are certain pockets where the land revenue, land reform acts has been extended, where Meiteis enjoyed land rights. And like, for example, in Churasanpo, it is the questions of cleansing Meiteis from those land that have escalated the retaliations. Otherwise, Meiteis are not absolutely barred from owning land in those areas where the Land Revenue Act has been extended. There are a couple of areas that I need to say. And number three, the questions of limited autonomy or whatever arrangement that comes under 370, Article 371C, if the tribal peoples feel that they are not satisfied or there are weaknesses in that structures and the arrangement and in terms of fund management and all, this is something that we have always raised to our friends in the hill area committees or wherever it is. We have always told them that let's bring out the real issues. Who are behind, responsible for non-transparency of funds, mismanagement of funds? Please point out the persons. Please tell us how it went wrong, so that we raise that issue collectively all together and try our best to solve the questions of mismanagement and misappropriation and etc. But they were not ready for various political reasons. There are lots of compulsions even within the and among the so-called tribes.
Okay.
See, the questions of separate administration is a goalpost that has changed recently from the opposition to scheduled tribe demand and etc. Now let me tell you, briefly, how can we talk about the separate administrations of for the Kukis when there are serious allegations saying that many of migrants in infiltrations who have taken control of the land and etc. It's going to be a very contested job unless we collectively sit together and work out mechanisms to clarify that if there are illegal immigrants or people or recent migrants who does not fulfill the criteria of indigenous peoples or permanent residents. It's not like you are jumping ahead and saying that we want a separate administration, but we have not solved out. Peoples will not accept recent migrants to claim for separate administration. It's going to escalate further the violence. We have so many things to sort it out first before coming out with all these demands for separations or autonomies or whatever it is. There are so many impending issues, such as the fight against drug, fight against poppy cultivation, and the fight against deforestation, and fight against illegal infiltrations and migrations, which are of collective concerns. Unfortunately, these issues have been either communally projected or being communally misinterpreted by various sections. It is not between the Meiteis and Kukis. These are common issues. These are common concerns where all of us have to sit together and work out for the collective future.